amazing. And they're 4 amazing teachers. When you think of all the wisdom that we're going to lose in 4 days, it's really scary. Our first one is Michelle Cantrell. I brought my note card so I can remember how many years they taught, where they taught. But Michelle started in Rutherford County, then Bedford County, then Franklin County before she was nabbed to Tullahoma. And then we got her, and she's been with us 18 years, is that right? And she worked part-time at Bel-Aire and Jack T. Farrar for many of those years. And then this year, just this year, we were able to nab her back. And when Michelle was making her decision about going to staying at Bel-Aire, staying at Farrar, of course, you know, either one would love to have her. She said, well, Dee, I don't think you're going to want me. I just want to be there a year. I'm just going to be another year. And I said, I want you for as long as I can get you. So we were able to hang on to her. She's fabulous. I asked her favorite memories. I said, tell me some of your favorite memories to share. And she said, well, probably her road trips with her colleagues, the duck stamp recognition ceremonies when those kids are getting recognized, because you saw some of the amazing work that was up here for students, and that really has put us on the map as far as the art programs across the state. It's not unusual at all for her to hear comments such as, there's no way elementary students did those ducks. And she's like, oh, yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. So
the art teacher was lazy.
So they've done a wonderful job. So, Michelle, you're going to be missed. Oh, my gosh, you're going to be missed. We love you. And then I have Miss Renee Farrar. Miss Renee? There she is. Come on up, Renee. Yeah, Renee, I was asking them how long she had taught, and you know, where she taught. She's like, it's a name thing. I've been at Farrar my whole career. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. So the kids all think like the school's hers. She owns the school. But Renee's taught for 29 years, and she really had planned on giving another year. And one day she said, "May I tell your story, your retirement story?"
Yes, you can.
She said that she went to church. She hadn't been to this particular church service in a long time. I believe it's Monday, Thursday service. And said she went, and she said it was just amazing. It was just a beautiful service. And she said she just prayed, God, what are you trying to tell me here? Just give me a sign. And she said she got home and her house had been broken into. And she said, that's my sign. There it is. That's God. Tell me it's time. So
they went to the TV, so that was good.
But she's moving to Portland to live with her mother, which is going to be wonderful because she travels to see her about every weekend. But she's taught 29 years, all at Farrar, and she's taught Title I, first grade, second grade, third grade, and fourth grade. So everything but kindergarten and fifth, and that's amazing to me.
And my student teaching at Farrar, so I've been there.
And another thing, the thing about Renee that I'll always remember, when I first became the principal at Farrar, which was 4 years ago, Renee was going through some really tough health situation. I never saw this lady lose hope. I never saw her down the dump. And I remember one time I said, you never cry, because like, I cry about everything. And she was like, no, I don't. This is just life. And I was like, you're amazing. So you're going to be missed. You're going to be missed. Abbott. It is going to be tough to see this lady leave, I'm just telling you. Kathy and I go way back, way back. I actually worked for Tommy back there, her husband, one summer when I'd been a teacher for maybe 10 years and was going through that. Is this what I want to do the rest of my life? Do I have any other skills? And Tommy put me to work, and I remember about Tommy. And I said, I think I'll go back now. But I remember Tommy loving his family. That's how I met sweet Kathy. Little did I know that God had his plans for Kathy to end up coming to East Middle School later as I was a principal over there, and I got to work with her. She actually worked as a PE teacher at Robert E. Lee in East Lincoln for a couple of years, and then she took some time off to raise 4 beautiful girls. Anybody from Tullahoma knows she's got 4 amazing daughters. Well, I guess Tommy gets some credit too, but I'm going to give most of it to Kathy. They're amazing. And then she returned to East Middle School, which is where I had the opportunity to work with Kathy, and she was an EA, and it wasn't long before she said, okay, I'm going to teach PE. So then she taught PE, and then it was like we needed a SPED. Okay, I'll get certified in SPED. So then she did special ed for a while, and then she made the decision to move over to Jack T. Farrar as an educational assistant. So she's done this, you know, and so then she moved to Jack T. Farrar as an assistant. Then I was fortunate enough to get to join her over there. I said, God put you in place because he knew I was going to be back with you. And then this year we needed a new special ed teacher and couldn't find them to fill a spot, so she's like, I'll do it for you, Debbie. So she went right back in this mission. Kathy, I love you. I love you. This lady, I've always said about Kathy, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, when I look at Kathy Abbott, I see Jesus. That's what I see when I look at Kathy Abbott. Her heart is as beautiful as that smile. We love you, and we're going to miss you, miss you, miss you. Now I got Roepke. I don't know how in the world we're ever going to know what's going to happen to the weather. Randy is our resident weatherman. Randy has taught 22 years at Jack T. Farrar, all at Jack T. Farrar. He was in 10 years in kindergarten, and then he was 1 year in 3rd grade, and then he did 4th and 5th for a while, and then this year he returned to kindergarten. He just said to me, he said, man, I should have gone back to kindergarten about 3 or 4 years ago. He has loved this last year with those little babies, and they're so funny. They hang on him. Like, I don't know how he has it. You know, they just love it. It's just the most amazing thing. Randy is instrumental in a lot of things that go into the school. He takes care of everything from when we have emergency situations. He helps with safety protocols. He's our resident weatherman. I think it was a couple of weeks ago when folks were down. A lot of people were down because of a tornado, concern of a tornado. And Ashley called in today and she said, Debbie, she said, do you think we should go down? And I said, no, Randy says everything's fine. And so we called Randy back up there, and Randy's like, guys, the storm is not even over us. And she said, yeah, but I think the kids at such and such school are down. And I said, if Randy says we don't need to get down, we don't need to get down. He knows this stuff. So he is our weatherman. I don't know what we're going to do, Randy. You're still calling. Okay. Another thing that he's been instrumental with, which is a really cool thing that's taking place tomorrow morning at 8:30, is a balloon launch at Jack T. Farrar. The students build balloons out of tissue paper, and then they launch those into space. And it's just so cool for them to get to see the fire and push those helium balloons up and see how far they go. And he's been instrumental in that, so I'm sure we're going to have him every year for that as well. So, Randy, we are going to miss you. Holy smokes, we're going to miss you. Thank you so much for your support.
Mr. Harjo.
Which role?
East Lincoln.
You want to do East Lincoln or Bel-Aire?
Do East Lincoln.
Okay, you sit down there. Kathy Abbott was my PE teacher in the 6th grade. Whoa. Why do you look older than her? Claudia and Cleave cannot be here tonight, but I'm still going to talk about her. Claudia's been in a school setting for almost 24 years. Her first 3 years were in a Memphis school setting. Her husband, Frank, was finishing law school down there. And then her first 3 outside of Memphis were at East Lincoln, and Mr. Ballard was the principal then. And she went home every day crying, wanted to bring kids home, so she had to do something else in life. And she got into the business world, and luckily she trained herself enough to come back the last 14. You won't find a lady in the world that connects with kids any more than Claudia does. We're going to miss Claudia Van Cleave, and we can still give her a round of applause. Miss Sandra Weiten is her 38th year of teaching. We go to church together at King's Cross, and I asked her a few years back, 5 years ago, if we could sit by each other. She says, because of the singing ability that we both have. And she said, oh no, you need to sit on the other side, and that way acoustically is a lot better. I don't really say anything. I've asked Sandra to put her wings up because she has simply been an angel on earth. She started her teaching career in Georgia, and she was a resource teacher. And when she first started, where's Dr. Hatfield? Her red folders looked like a comic book. Now they're these thick things. When she started out, they looked like a comic book. And ended up teaching at Franklin County. And for the last 22 years, she's been a CDC teacher in our building. She is an angel on earth. She always puts kids first. no matter what, and you're always going to be an advocate for our kids, especially our kids that need a little more loving. And Sandra, you have a 9, 6, and 4-year-old grandchildren. And if I were a betting man, you'll be on the beach not far into June, will you? We love you, Miss Sandra. Thank you. Okay, I'm a B now. Miss Dana.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get Miss April for this.
Dana and I go way back. Now, you were a Bel-Aire B, right?
Still a Bel-Aire.
Always a B. Stingers up, right?
Yep.
Dana and my little brother used to Dana. It's the only girlfriend he had, and I got mad they broke up because I liked Dana that guy. I think y'all probably broke up because, your family's full of athletes. You had a brother that held a batting average at Vanderbilt for years. That just got broken.
It's about
You're
me.
Scott. Hey, your other brother Scott was OVC Player of the Year twice, but you could outrun, watching you run those, you were a great athlete. Dana came to us in 1989, and she actually was hired at Tullahoma High School in 1989, and you served there until 1993 as a resource teacher for math and social studies, correct?
So far.
All right. Since then, you've been a bee back home at the Beehive, and
Still the same.
you've done about everything there. You've done everything but kindergarten and first, haven't you? You've been an interventionist. You've been a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
Yes, sir.
You've done it all,
I
haven't
have, just about.
you? You made Bel-Aire a
Janitor.
part-time custodian, probably principal there too, hadn't you? Okay. We've been very blessed, and that's going to be a big void in that school because Miss Morris is. They're going to miss your smile because you are Bel-Aire, and you've done a great job there, and we appreciate everything you've done for Bel-Aire.
Mr. Farrar. That's you.
All right, we are celebrating Ms. Lawson tonight for West Middle School. She's going to be leading us and going on to do her things. So my experience with Ms. Lawson has only been for 4 years, but I will say in the 4 years that I've been at West that she's been a mentor not only to students but to a lot of teachers. I watch as new teachers come in, and every time a new teacher comes in, she gently leads them down the correct path on all things. Both academically and she also does a great job in teaching them how to handle the management. Because a lot of new teachers that come in, we don't really have those skills, and she's gently leading people down the right path. I do want to say that with her students, there's a lot of students that come in and they come in as little babies in 6th grade, and what she does is she teaches them to kind of stand up and have their own voice, and that's fun to watch because her personality in the 6th grade, those kids sometimes don't know how to take Ms. Lawson. So it's a unique experience to sit there and watch their eyes get humongous when you go into class the first time, but she raises those kids up. By the time they leave 6th grade and go on to 7th grade, there's something about Ms. Lawson and how she makes kids have confidence in themselves. Even no matter what their gifts are in life, she always showcases those. Another thing that she has done well for me, coming to West Middle School, there's a lot of skills that I didn't feel like I had as an assistant principal, and through the years, she has gently coached me once again to show me that there's things that I'm good at and there's things to grow in, but she's just a mentor both to students and to teachers and to assistant principals and to principals, so I've had a really good...
superintendent.
So I've had a great experience working with Ms. Lawson, and I'm thankful. So congratulations to you. All right.
Principal Rose, Tullahoma High School.
We are losing 4 people this year who are going on to, I can only imagine what fun they're going to have. But anyway, Steve Britton is not with us this evening. He is retiring though. He is going to do some coaching with his son and in Giles County, so you may be seeing him on the sidelines some next year. Gilliam is also retiring at the end of this year, and he has been an institution for us and has helped put a lot of young men and women into good jobs in this community as a machining teacher. Pat Beckham is our school nurse, and I can't honestly tell you how long she's been our school nurse, because when I first went to the front office, my reaction was, we have a school nurse? Because I just didn't make it up there that often. And then when I realized who it was, I thought, oh, that's Jennifer's mother. And again, I know it's all about you, but I had to get out of Jennifer's
Ms.
mother.
Rodenbeck, come on up here so she can.
And this is our school nurse. But you know, my best memory, first day that I was on the job, Pat came through the door holding a blood pressure cuff. And I said, what are you doing? She said, I need to get a baseline on you before you start. And she has been my unofficial physician for going on 10 years now. And she has been some of the best health care, some of the only health care that some of our students have received, and she knows the history of everyone, and we're going to be lost in the front office without you, because she is one that she doesn't just wait till somebody wants a Band-Aid or has a stomachache or needs their temperature taken. We're shorthanded in the office or we get busy. She's over there, she's answering the phone, she's taking care of people. Truly epitomizes team player and compassionate nurse all at the same time, and you are badly going to be missed.
Thank you.
I badly hate to see Dean Rodenbeck leave, because that will leave me as the oldest person in the building. Dean was one of 2 teachers currently at the high school who were there when I came in 1992. 37 years at Tullahoma High School, and 7 years in Kentucky before then. He's been there so long, he's remodeled my bathroom, the same bathroom twice. So that's, you know, he has been there for a stretch. But there are, you know, we all can only hope as educators that we touch a life, that we make a change in life, in his classroom performance, in his coaching, in his giving a kid who really needs a little extra money a job on after school or weekend. Well, he can haul some lumber for me, or I can, you know, he can help me do a cleanup. Dean Rodenbeck has been that person for so many kids for nearly 4 decades. And you, yeah, it sounds longer when you say it that way, doesn't it? But I can only begin to imagine the exponential number of lives you've touched and the people you've influenced. And I know what you've done for us at Tullahoma High School. I know what you've done for me personally, and you are going to be so, so missed.
Miss Barlow, if you want to come on up. One of the folks Mr. Rodenbeck touched was me.
It's Scotty. I bet Scotty too.
in first of all, Mike's here, husband Mike, Olivia and Allison, a wonderful family. Started teaching in Tullahoma in 1978 and is about to complete her 41st year. So that's awesome. So I asked her about some of her memories over those 41 years, and a bunch of them she kept saying, no, we can't say that. We can't say that. She's taught kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and intervention. She told me that she remembered when Olivia, one of her fondest memories was her kids coming through the school. And she said when Olivia was there, she remembered that she would go through the book fair and tell whoever was working at the book fair, just keep these for me, my mom's coming to get them. and then when Allison came through, she said that Allison would get all worked up and mad at her when she would tell the other kids in the lunchroom something that had happened at home, or, would kind of embarrass her. So that was two of her memories. She said that she enjoys seeing the students that she taught and what they have accomplished in life. She's even taught some of their kids. So, Miss Barlow, you'll be greatly missed. She was the person that when we hired someone new, if they needed, how can I say that in the right kind of way? If they needed a little help, Miss Barlow was there to help them. And we could send somebody to Miss Barlow, and she would give them good advice, and she's given a bunch of folks good sound advice. You will be greatly missed, and thank you for your leadership, Robert E. Lee.
I'm going to ask Tammy Hatfield to come up. And as she is making her way here, Tammy was one of the first people I met after I came to Tullahoma. And as most of you know, she's our director of special education. And after many years in education myself, I've come to realize those who work in special education are guaranteed their place in heaven.
He's not known you very long.
So I'm getting out now.
But, as I listen to folks talk, now you worked at the high school at one point, right? And you were an assistant principal there, right? And you worked with Mr. Hargrove, right? Because I heard you guys refer to each other as Batman and Robin. And so you obviously were Batman and he was Robin. But no, and one of the things I appreciate being in your office are the varsity letters that you've got hanging in your office. And you receive varsity letters in basketball?
Right.
And other sports as well?
No, just basketball.
Oh, just basketball.
Just basketball.
And you shared with me too that you could continue to teach and to lead, but you would prefer to spend your time on the beach with you. And she shared about her the motor coach that you guys have, and how you just as soon spend your time down in this paradise than the paradise here at Tullahoma City Schools.
They're similar, but not a whole lot.
And I know Kim Atkins from your staff is back there. Kim, is there anything you want to throw in or add to?
Tammy's just been the best mentor I could have had. She's just really shown me a lot about not just managing, but also managing. Enjoying life. Don't forget to enjoy life. We talk a lot about that.
Well, there you go. Tammy, thank you very much for your leadership, and I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to work longer together.
True. I would have stayed, but I need to go on. He needs me at the beach.
Dr. Lawson, sir.
Yes, I am one retiree, and I'm going to give a little bit of story because it loosely keyholes what I want to talk about Miss Cheryl. And that story is actually about Miss Karen Lawson. Now, I've never had the pleasure of working in the same building as her, but this year we had a health issue that caused one of our teachers to miss the last several weeks of school. And Miss Hazelwood's place was taken by Miss Tunstall as a long-term sub. Now, her first day as long-term sub, I said, Miss Tunstall, I'm very sorry, you're going to have to work next door to Matt Lawson. And if you know Matt Lawson and Miss Connie Tunstall, you'll know Matt Lawson is about my height, and you'll know Miss Tunstall is about that tall. And she said, "Now don't you worry, I'm not going to have any trouble out of Matt Lawson at all." And I said, "Well, I'm sure not." And she said, "And if there's any trouble at all, I know his mama." And I'll say this. Anytime somebody says, "I know their mama," that means that they've done a good job of being a mama. And the reason I give that story is because watching Miss Cheryl, could you come forward, please? Watching Miss Cheryl work with kids is like watching a mother or a grandmother work with kids. Okay? Now, and I say that because she has her own children and her grandchildren here. Watching that interaction is the same thing you'll see when she works with kids. It's a loving relationship, it's a caring relationship, but at the same time, you're not going to do what you want to do. It's not the spoiled grandma time. This is the time to do what you're supposed to do. And Miss Cheryl epitomizes that. Just like she treats her own children and her grandchildren with respect and love and care, she does the same thing. I have a very, very, very good set of aides at East Middle School. And Miss Cheryl is a key component of that. But for all the benefit that she's brought to the kids at East Middle School during the school day, for me, she will always epitomize ESOM. Now, ESOM stands for East Students on the Move. That's a Saturday group. They do service projects and all that kind of stuff. And for years, Miss Cheryl she and Miss Doherty have driven that program. They have taken kids that she has taught kids that don't have the opportunity to do service, to teach them the importance of service. She has taken kids that may not have a decent meal when they're outside of school, and she's made sure that they get snacks and drinks and meals on a Saturday when they're doing service projects. Because she has loved those kids and she has cared for those kids and she's done exactly what they need. And so she will be sorely missed, and congratulations on your retirement.
From the maintenance shop, Ted, you want to come up, please?
I don't really know where I'm doing. You know how many of this bunch has sent me jobs?
And what do we all say?
Thank you. You better remember that.
Well, coming here to Tullahoma, the maintenance department is they're amazing what you guys are able to do and complete. And you may mention all the projects that you have been sent to you, the things that you have touched and sent back to the classrooms have helped to educate our young people.
There's a lot you're leaving out here.
What's that?
You got people right here. If it wasn't for them backing us, now some of these ideas sound pretty stupid until you implement it.
Sure.
You all know how that works. Without the board here, Dr. Lawson and them backing us, you haven't been here long enough to know me that bad. You can't do it.
That's right.
You cannot do it. And me and my wife back there, we pray for this school all the time.
There you go.
We will keep doing so, because this is our family.
There you go. There you go.
I appreciate y'all.
Well, I tell you what, you've been a blessing to this school, and you've blessed my life. So thank you very much. There you go.
We need to bring Ms. Rhodes back for Mr. Britton and see this is not a comparison as Mr. Lawson and Ms. Tunstall.
Okay?
You want me to take the shoes off so you can really see the difference?
Yeah.
Well, this is Steve Britton, who wasn't here earlier when we did it.
Doctors.
No. You came to Tullahoma in
11, 12 years ago.
11 or 12, yeah, you kind of lose track after a while. But I know when I found out that Steve Britton was coming to Tullahoma High School, I was absolutely thrilled because our daughters had played volleyball together on a traveling team in Murfreesboro. So I had met Steve and his wife previously. And Franklin County's loss was our gain.
Well, thank you.
Kids will literally run through a brick wall for Steve Britton, and with good reason. He does have a state championship ring that I covet, that I wish he would leave to me when he goes, but I don't think he's gonna do that. But he has worked with our football program, he has worked with our wrestling program, and truth be known, you probably ought to have 2 rings, because we know that you had an awful lot to do with Jane Allen scoring what she scores. She credits you with a whole lot of help on that state championship that she won this year. But you're gonna do a little more coaching.
Oh, yeah, so switch avenues.
Yeah. But we're gonna miss you. We appreciate everything you've done for our kids. Our school is a better place for your having been there, and I'm glad you landed at Tullahoma.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.